Good morning, I'm Danny de Hek, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. Sam Lee has been released from prison. So what does that tell us? Well, first of all, it tells us that he was incarcerated and he was arrested. Apparently, there was a arrest issued for him by what they call it. I'm just going to read this paragraph here that I've got in front of me. So what do we have here? We're just going to read this paragraph.
Lee contacted Bussin this week to say he'd just been released. He said he'd surrendered himself willingly when he learned an Interpol red notice had been issued for his arrest, and that he was working to clear himself of the charges, and would resume his work on crypto venture.
So Interpol got involved. Will you be asking, was he arrested because of his involvement with HyperVerse? Was he arrested because of the $58 million that got stolen from Australian investors? Well, today, this video is going to give you my 2 cents worth on the article that has been produced by Alice. Alice is a reporter for Bloomberg, and she had been working closely with me for the last 8 months putting together this informational fact sheet about HyperVerse and Sam Lee, Shavis Anwar, Garrett Blakely's, and also May Samavu. And some of the information in here is absolutely breathtaking, but it's good to have it timelined, and it's fantastic to have a reporter dig deep and find the real story to broadcast to you. My name is Danny de Hek, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. I'm here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I have done my apprenticeship, would be fair to say, with HyperVerse. I probably know more about HyperVerse than anyone else on the planet. So yes, a lot of the things that I come up with and the things that I say, like about 4 weeks ago, I got told by the men in black that Sam Lee had been detained in Dubai. And I did a video, and it's been on the homepage of my YouTube channel ever since. Everyone's been asking me, how do you know this information? Well, I get informants provide me information, because when I tell information, I get more information. So if you know anything about Sam Lee being released from prison, and you're watching this video and you want to tell us, go to dehek.com and give us what you know about Sam being released. Because at the moment, Sam Lee's arrogant enough to say business is normal, more crypto projects on the way. And what's the role of Shavis? He's claiming that his 9pay has been approved by Visa. In this very article, we have Visa, who said they don't normally give out confidential information about their clients, but he's not one of their clients. There is no reference to any Visa collaboration with 9pay. Absolutely none. So why is he doing a pre-sale of credit cards, and why is he walking around showing everyone he's using a credit card that hasn't even been released yet? Because they are scammers, and they get away with it in Dubai. So what I want to do is I want to read every paragraph of this, and I want to tell you my 2 cents worth. So I'm just going to start with the latest paragraphs.
Dubai's alleged crypto scams are raking in billions. Ponzi and pyramid schemes dressed in startup clothes have been running rampant in the UAE, experts and US authorities say.
Well, what about this part, alleged? I mean, I have been following probably in excess of, 100 Ponzi schemes and scams over the last 3 years. I've got 180 of them in my books, and I'm currently got about 92 that I'm actively investigating. So alleged Ponzi schemes. So if you've invested in something that doesn't have a product or a service, and they told you were going to get something if you gave you the money, that isn't alleged. That is a Ponzi scheme that has fallen over. How many of them need to fall over before Dubai actually does something about it?
By Alice Kantor, December 5th, 2024 at 9 a.m. GMT on a scorching July day in Dubai. Sam Lee was inside a climate-controlled wine bar, sipping a glass of chilled red, looking untouchable. Near the beginning of the year, US authorities announced that they'd charged Lee in absentia with conspiracy to commit securities fraud and wire fraud. They alleged that, as the co-founder of a company called HyperVerse, he'd orchestrated a cryptocurrency scam that bilked investors around the world for almost $2 billion. HyperVerse had promised returns as high as 1% a day via cutting-edge blockchain-based strategies, but according to the US Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission, it was just an old-fashioned Ponzi scheme.
Now, I don't believe it for a second that Sam was the guy that instigated this HyperVerse thing. Hypertech Group, you might have noticed the thumbnail. You might see Hypertech Group. Hypertech Group, I've got videos of 20 people having a board meeting in Singapore or Hong Kong, not entirely sure, who moved from Melbourne, Australia, to these other countries and carried on running as the entity known as Hypertech Group. I don't believe Sam Lee is the instigator of HyperVerse. I'll put it out there and say that publicly. Sam Lee is a puppet. Shavis Anwar is the next puppet. And there'll be other puppets as this scam just keeps on eventuating. So there's no such thing as Sam Lee got a lot of money. I've been approached by companies asking me to collect people who have lost their money so they can do a class action lawsuit against Sam Lee. This is all bullshit. You will never get any money out of Sam Lee. I even heard rumours from some people who are doing these class action lawsuits that they had seized assets from Sam Lee. This is all bullshit. Do not listen to it. Sam Lee doesn't have any money. He's just a puppet. So I don't think he's the instigator. However, why did he get charged by America for his connection? Well, he was connected. I heard from one of his mistresses that lives in China that he actually had made about $2.8 million from his connection to HyperVerse, but wasn't the instigator. She contacted me and said I saved her life because she was about to go to Dubai to move in with Sam and marry Sam. But then she realised that Sam was already married and had other mistresses. She believed I saved her life. She would have been involved in human trafficking. And that's why she said I saved her life. This is $2 million scam. America charged Sam Lee to prod Australia in the ribs to do something and charge him because no charges from Australia had been laid against Sam Lee, even though he left the country in a hurry, and so did $58 million along with Ryan Jew. So that's really unusual that they're actually saying that he may have been even arrested in his connection to HyperVerse.
In a series of interviews with Bloomberg this week, Lee, an Australian citizen who's been living and working in Dubai for the past several years, denied the allegations against him and said any misuse of HyperVerse fund must have been conducted by someone else. Startups fail, he said at the wine bar, playfully tilting his glass. That's just the nature of business. Whenever he got a tough question, he paused for a prolonged beat, sometimes cocking a dark eyebrow. US socials had said they were working with counterparts in the United Arab Emirates to hand Lee a summons. He wasn't concerned with the US government's wishes. They have no evidence, so I don't have to do anything.
Now, these are videos that I had actually got hold of that I have put on my YouTube channel. So do check out the YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed. A lot of people watch my videos and aren't subscribed, but I have a complete archive. In fact, did you know that I have over 1,700 videos on Ponzi schemes and scams? And if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm not saying this because I want you to subscribe, but I do want you to know that I have a complete archive of everything from Hypertech to Hypercapital to Hyperfund to Hyperverse to Hypernation to Hypercosmos to Hypercapital to Diversal. And some of the other things that you may be in shock of is if we go to Money Smart and we look at the investor warnings that we have on HyperVerse. This is the Australian. Now, Australians got prodded in the ribs. ASIC got told off because they didn't do enough to warn the Australian citizens. And they said, we put out a general warning about, crypto investments a couple of years before this happened. That's what the lady, Sarah, whatever her last name is, who runs ASIC in Australia. And now I noticed just last night when I was looking up the warning, you can see that all the names that are associated with Sam Lee are actually updated. So we've got Hyper Community, HyperVerse French Tech Limited, who the hell, I haven't even heard of that one, Hcash, Hypernation, Hypercapital, all the names they can think of, any information, even Diversal is thrown into the air. So all these are connected to Sam Lee, and the Australian consumers should be careful. I mean, this is how lazy Money Smart the Australian entities are. So this statement wasn't a statement as I would call it from Sam Lee. I would actually say this is more of a statement of watching videos of Sam Lee talking, which is actually a great way of getting, let's say, it straight from the horse's mouth.
Although HyperVerse was defunct, Lee's other business operations weren't tough to end. He said he had a network of people running a string of similar projects in Dubai, and US court documents corroborate this, as do interviews with his colleagues and rivals. At the wine bar, He said Dubai's booming crypto industry and loose legal frameworks made it the perfect base of operations. I thrive in this country.
Right, so we have actually got a database on Sam Lee, and I'll just flip that off for a second. And I've actually got Sam Lee. I'll just show you what we've actually got. So in Australia, we've got, at the moment, we're actively going after another scam called Artorias Gold, and you'll see a lot of people in here. But in here, I've got Sam Lee, and this building here that you see here is actually where Sam Lee has been operating out of. And in here, he claims to have a call center. And he also claimed at one point that he was providing jobs for people that have been released from prison, because twice a year the Dubai UAE release people from prison and give them a fresh start. And Sam claimed at one point that he was housing these people and giving them jobs and put them up in a 5-star hotel. So if you want to believe that, you can, but that's what he claimed to do in another release of information. So let's carry on. Let's read the next paragraph and see what I think about that. We'll do this in 2 parts.
Over the past decade or so, experts say Dubai has quietly become a let-in home for a strain of crypto scamming that's gone relatively unnoticed in TH's shadow of scandals at the level of FTX and Binance. According to US and international authorities, this other wave of companies isn't just misusing customer money, like Sam Bankman-Fried, or violating anti-money
Okay, let's carry on.
laundering laws, like Changpeng Zhao. FTX and Binance were still running exchanges that mostly worked. These other companies allegedly sucker investors into handing them money for digital coins the companies can either easily manipulate or simply never create. They develop shiny-looking investment platforms, then promise mouth-watering returns that they enhance with capital from newer marks right up until the scams collapse under their own weight, perhaps a few months later, prosecutors say. On top of that, these platforms often grow exponentially by promising higher returns to those who can also bring in new investors, usually their friends and family.
Yes, these investment opportunities are destroyers of relationships, friendships, families. They promise unrealistic returns, and because of that, people just seem to turn their ears off. They have deaf ears when people like me are warning people about these investment scams. I just got an email just yesterday from someone. He said, "Oh, thank you so much for saving me from Trade Technologies Limited. Do you know any good investment scams?" And I said, "What planet are you on? How many times do you guys need to lose your money before somebody who says you're going to get 1% per day on your investment, that you should just wake up and slap yourself around the head and realize that you should wake up? There's no such thing as high return investments. They're all Ponzi schemes. You need to study what a Ponzi scheme is."
Employing old-school tactics and usually keeping low proles, those big in these alleged Ponzi and pyramid schemes have taken in a large haul. Since 2017, 4 of them have defrauded victims of more than $3.4 billion in total according to US charges, which rank Lee's operation at the top of that list. Dozens of other people whom US and international authorities have accused of operating similar schemes are also based in Dubai, according to public records and communications with some of those involved. The vast majority of the accused have continued to operate their businesses without serious legal repercussions. Pyramid and Ponzi schemes are illegal in the UAE, as are all investment scams, but prosecutions are few and far between, says David Utsk, a former crypto investigator for the US Internal Revenue Service. There's a sense in the UAE that criminals are allowed to come in and do whatever, as long as they are not harming local citizens.
That is right. This is a red flag, right? And I wave it like this in front of people. If anyone ever offers you a business opportunity and the CEO of that company is actually based in Dubai, then run 100 miles in the opposite direction, 100 mile an hour in the opposite direction, because it's all bullshit. You're never going to get your money back. You're never ever going to be able to claim foul if you invest with a company that has contacts with Dubai. It's just the biggest red flag ever. And yes, they will get away with it. And then you'll be going, how do I sue them? And I go, well, why did you invest in a company you don't even know where they live, where their phone numbers are, where their offices are? They give you fake offices, they give you fake CEOs, and you still are just chucking your money at them. Hey, thank you very much to the comment on there. I really appreciate it. Keep up the good work, mate. Thanks for the video, all the info, and all the research about these massive scams. Thank you very much for the nice comment. That's awesome. Thanks very much.
The schemes are proliferating at a delicate moment for the UAE's standing in the world of nats. In 2022, the nation was placed on the International Financial Action Task Force's grey list of jurisdictions that don't do enough to tackle illicit funds. It took steps to get itself removed from the lease and has continued polishing its image since it succeeded this past February, but it's kept its crypto rules loose, even as other countries tighten theirs, in a sustained bid to become the industry's global capital. Now, according to international authorities and supported by public records, it appears to be home to a crypto scammer colony.
Yeah, so what I'm just going to go flip back to the original article so that, because I think Alice has updated some of this, so I just didn't want to have the adverts, but I noticed that the PDF is chopping off some of the words, and it may cause us grief in a wee while. So I'm trying to find whereabouts local citizens, and what they just said there, actually, just make sure, colony. So there we are. So now we're on the real article. Now, what it is interesting, this is how I think you can fight these scammers. First of all, if you see them promoting, cause lots of disruption. Not rocket science there. That's exactly what I want to do. The second thing is use the local law enforcement, the local law, to go after these guys. Now, I know one guy that's had his travel documents removed from him because Sam Lee actually went to the Dubai police and complained this guy was slandering after him. 4 screenshots of him calling somebody a scammer was enough to get his travel pass removed. So you could do this if you want to fight back. So go and report to the local Dubai police about any slander or defamation, because they seem to act on that. So that's using the local, because what they said back here, which I didn't get a chance to say, is that they're more worried about if you're not harming the locals and you're an international scammer, you can do whatever you like internationally, but just don't do anything in the local swimming pool, so to speak.
The schemes are proliferating at a delicate moment for the UAE's standing in the world.
And I think we read that one. So let's just go to this wee paragraph. This is going to be better reading.
Reached for comment. The UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs directed questions to the Dubai Police and the Ministry of Justice. Neither agency responded to inquiries.
That's right. And Rob Worley has actually shared this article with Dubai Police and also the people who are researching. Now, this is major because Rob has been on their case for 6 months and never got a reply back. He's been yelling at them down the internet, telling them why the hell do they let Shahvis Anwar exist in Dubai, living in Fountain of Youth Tower number 3. We even know where he is. And this very article is brilliant because it shows that Shahvis is connected to a criminal cartel-type network, Hypertech Group, in my opinion. And now this article is actually really going to make a difference. So we managed to get correspondence going with Dubai, and they hadn't seen this article, and they won't like this article, and they will act on this article going by what they are saying in the correspondence we've had. This is breaking news for the Avengers.
Some of the people who've reported losing money to scams like these are more willing to talk. Rupert Honeywood, a 67-year-old business coach near the southeastern English town of Tunbridge, was so taken with the promise of HyperVerse that he sold the house where he and his wife were living and handed £130,000,
oh my God,
$165,000 of their money over to Lee's company, then talked their friends into investing, too. They all lost everything, and the Honeywoods have had to start over on their housing ladder with a fraction of their original wealth while they try to recover their funds. I've distanced myself from some of this emotionally, Honeywood says, because I can't cope sometimes.
Now, this guy here, I assume, would have been listening to me once on YouTube thinking I'm an idiot. Now, that's very sad that you've lost that money. I would love to interview you. I would love to hear your story. Now, they tell you this is just short of a $2 billion scam. I've always claimed it's a $4 billion scam. And people who say they can claw back the money and do a class action lawsuit, this is how it works, kids. 52% of the money that was brought in to HyperVerse was given out to the people promoting it, the multi-level marketing promoters, the leaders, which I hate calling them leaders. 52% of the money. So if it's a $4 billion scam, it's a $1.9 billion scam. That's what they reckon the HyperVerse and Hyperfund and Hypercapital, Hypertech Group has actually taken from the mum and dad community. $2.1 billion worth of that money. And this is of people who have just purchased a $300 or $400 HyperVerse Hyperfund membership. 52% of that money could have been transferred back into fiat currency. That means there's a lot of people that have made themselves millionaire. I'll give you a name. Kalpesh Patel. Keith Williams. He lives in a $3 million, his family live in a £3 million mansion at the moment. Keith, sadly, got karma and died on, I think, the 11th of April this year, 2023. A lot of other people have taken their money and the cash off the platform. They are the people that could have their funds recovered from. So if you've made $1 million from HyperVerse and you're sitting there pretty and you've kept your mouth shut, good on you. But I have a database of everybody that has been involved. So if you went to my persons of interest database, everyone that's involved in HyperVerse and HyperFund and Hyper whatever and promoting these scams today is in my database. I have over 350 people. I have them broken into countries. For example, we've got America. I've even got what I call my top 10 most wanted. Now, I sat there in a video call with the IRS, Homeland Security, and the FBI, and the head investigator for the HyperVerse, and I gave them this picture that you're looking at now with my 10 most wanted people. I have a database of everyone involved in this scheme. I have your phone numbers, any addresses I can get, people, associates, family, friends, the whole 9 yards is basically here. So if you want help going after these people who've ran away with $2.1 billion. This is the leaders, the people who are still promoting other new Ponzi schemes. Reach out to me. And the other $1.9 billion that they claim that Sam Lee, they're going to get the money back, forget about it. Sam Lee's a puppet. He's not the one behind it all. In fact, Sam Lee has been replaced by Chavis. And Chavis is sitting in a hotel room, living in a $500 a night hotel room in Dubai, waiting for somebody to knock on his door. Hello, we're the Dubai police. We understand somebody has reported you for running scams. Visa claims... Anyway, let's just carry on and listen to these paragraphs. Some of them just get me excited.
The UAE sometimes extradites people to the US, including alleged financial scammers, but it doesn't have a formal extradition treaty with America or many other countries. It's better known as a global financial center with open visa policies and little regulatory interference, which can make it an attractive option for people operating in legal grey areas.
So this is why they charge Sam Lee. I reckon Interpol, a red notice. Look up what one of those are. But I believe that it was Australia, because they have an expedition policy with Dubai, and I reckon that's what we were hoping was going to happen. But it looks like Sam's now out, and the criminals get away with it. But I do believe that Australia has got a better shot at getting Sam Lee expedited out of Dubai than obviously America. No one likes America.
As Dubai sought to attract crypto companies in the 2010s, suspected scammers began setting up shop there, too. Between 2015 and 2017, Bulgarian emigre Ruja Ignatova used Dubai as her base of operations while running OneCoin Limited, one of the largest fraud schemes ever perpetrated, according to US authorities. They say she siphoned $3.8 billion from victims by promising them digital tokens she never created. The FBI put Ignatova, who's also known as the Crypto Queen, on its 10 most wanted fugitives list, and one of her co-founders has pleaded guilty to fraud, but her legacy appears to have persisted.
I think it's her husband that's pleaded to fraud. So there you go. There's another company that everyone was going wonderful. A lot of people that were promoting OneCoin, One Life, One Everything, were actually telling you these porkies, and you were believing them because you weren't doing your research, because they tell you to do your due diligence, and these companies provide their own due diligence. So just don't believe any of these crypto investment frauds stories, because it's not worth it.
On an evening stroll by the Dubai Mall, visitors in 2023 could see ads for the company on passive splashed across the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. The company's offices are on the 134th and 151st floors, and a nearby on-passive branded metro station still encourages passers-by to sign up to the future of internet. According to the SEC, on-passive is a pyramid scheme. Last year, the agency charged Chief Executive Officer Ash Mufareh with defrauding 800,000 people of $108 million combined. On-passive's website stopped processing payments earlier this year.
Wow, I hadn't even heard of that one, so even I'm learning stuff as we go here, kids.
Mufareh, who didn't respond to inquiries for this story, has denied the charges and said his company is a legitimate startup. The SEC suit is ongoing.
Good photo there, Alice. Nice to see you out there. Alice actually, from my understanding, went to Dubai twice to write this story. And there's some other, there's hopefully going to be a video coming out soon too. I'll tell you about that another day.
Few of Dubai's alleged crypto scammers have been quite as splashy, but many are said to be much bigger. Metaforce is run by Lado Okhotnikov, a Russian entrepreneur who was indicted in Oregon last year for overseeing an alleged $340 million Ponzi and pyramid scheme called Forsage. Ultron, a non-fungible token company banned by Quebec authorities this spring, claims to have collected $200 million from investors. One of its main salesmen, Vitaly Dubinin, continues to promote its NFTs and give other crypto advice from Dubai's bluest rooftop pools. This September, Joseph Heath, the alleged mastermind behind a crypto scam that Texas securities regulator estimated at $1 billion, agreed to settle fraud charges brought by several US states without admitting wrongdoing.
So Joseph Haidt, as I call him, if you go to my database, you might have noticed that if we go to persons of interest, actually what we want to do is actually go back. But, so Joseph Haidt has now rebranded himself and got himself, and I can't even pronounce the name of it properly, but it's called
Oridus Gold.
Oridus Gold. And if you go into marketers, I've found 30 Australian couples and people, so it's probably more like 50 individuals, who are promoting Oridus Gold and they're using their children to do YouTube reels to generate leads. And, even just last night, I'm corresponding with the boyfriend of one of these lovely ladies, and he's now considering actually, seriously listening to what I have to offer about these people. So this is happening now, and these companies, there's Joseph Haidt there. And so if you just, wake up and smell the coffee, this is happening right now, and it's still going on. So they've now rebranded it from GS Partners to Oridus Gold, and there's Australians just over the ditch promoting it like there's no tomorrow, because they're after that multi-level marketing dollars they get from signing up a family member or a friend. I've got the wrong article, haven't I? So where does it stop? Nowhere does it stop. And let's listen to this.
Heath said in a statement that the charges were dropped, although regulators denied that was the case. Heath still has to repay money to investors before the settlement is finalised. None of the other men or their companies responded to inquiries, though Okhotnikov has denied the charges against him, and Dubinin hasn't been charged or sued.
Isn't this just stupid? We've got a guy that has been defrauding people, and now he gets fined. And that's his penalty, when he's got a shit ton of money from everyone he's been defrauding. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. The world that we live in. I'm going to get that whole paragraph, I think.
Lee moved to Dubai in 2021 when he was 32. He said at the wine bar that he's the son of a Singaporean businessman he didn't name, adding that his parents spoiled him. He and his little sister were raised by their mother in Melbourne after their parents split up, he said, and he went to the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology for a year before flunking out. He spent several years working jobs in marketing and business analysis, then turned to crypto. In 2014, he co-created a Bitcoin mining operation called Blockchain Global, soliciting individual investments from people in Australia. Blockchain Global later collapsed and went into receivership, owing creditors $58 million Australian dollars, $38 million. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission opened an investigation still ongoing into whether Lee and other directors had used customer funds to pay their own bills and invest in other companies.
Right, so you might have noticed I flicked onto a screen here. This is the whole, since 2014 we've been tracking him. January, March, all these change of companies, all these names, everything that he's been doing, I've got it all, everyone. I've even got a summary of what he's been doing right up to 2000 and where he is now. So I have a complete file on every fart that Sam Lee has done since 2014. And the 58 million, he didn't move to Dubai. He went missing. He fled to Dubai, and so did the $58 million. Now, the $58 million, I believe, is why they would have had that Interpol red flag notice, because I reckon they wouldn't have gone after him for HyperVerse. They would have gone after him for the $58 million that disappeared when he disappeared with Ryan Jew. If anyone's got the money, it's Ryan Jew. But Sam Lee ain't got a brass razoo.
By then, Lee had spent years with his eyes on a bigger prize. He'd co-founded HyperVerse, originally HyperCash, in 2017, attracting thousands of investors with the promise of daily returns ranging from 0.5% to 1%. HyperVerse tokens were supposed to gain value through crypto mining operations the SEC says never existed. Instead, according to the agency, gains delivered to early investors came from the stakes of other investors in textbook Ponzi fashion. What's more, investors were encouraged to sell packages to friends and family and earn more in return, adding to the operation the hallmark of a pyramid scheme. According to the legal complaint, retirees and young professionals from dozens of countries took part, joining through friends, family and even accountants or pastors who promised a safe route to a secure retirement, according to complaints later filed with US authorities.
Haven't seen the legal complaint. Anyway, I don't believe it's Hypercash. I believe it was Hypertech Group. We do actually have I thought I actually had it handy, but I do actually have something that's more interesting. I might actually bring it up because it is kind of worthwhile. If I can bring it up in a hurry, that would be good. What we'll do is we'll start the next paragraph because I'm in a bit of a hurry today. And then we'll see if I can find that image in the background. Have a listen to this one.
Celebrity endorsements from the likes of Apple Incorporated co-founder Steve Wozniak, actor Chuck Norris and NSYNC singer Lance Bass contributed to HyperVerse's popularity. Be a galaxy pioneer, go on intergalactic explorations, Wozniak said in a 2022 video about the company's opaque relaunch. Can't wait for the HyperVerse. Wozniak says he was paid $3,750 to read the script and had no idea the company was an alleged fraud. This is very embarrassing, he wrote in an email. Neither Norris nor Bass responded to requests for comment.
Yeah, so that was a bit silly, really, and I don't even know why we really got that in there, but you can go to this website and get a celebrity endorsement, and you pay the celebrities money, and that's how it sort of works. There was actually 3 of them that actually did it, that were endorsing HyperVerse. This is the organisational chart that I've often shown, and you may have not seen before, but this is Hypertech Group, and this is why I say it's Hypertech Group. We've got Blockchain Global, which is Sam Lee, Colin Star Capital, which is Brian Jew, Hypertech Group, which is the group, and then you've got Hcash Foundation. And remember, I showed you this investor warning here from Australia, and they've put Hcash in here as well. You can also see things like the Hyper Community, which is how they promoted it. You've got Hyperfund, mining, gaming, education, media, the whole 9 yards. And that screenshot was very, very hard to get. I did not make it up. It is actually off the original website. So lots of stuff like that. But these guys just got hooked up into the middle of making money from these people playing, so nothing really special there. Let's carry on.
Near the end of HyperVerse's sunny period, it supposedly appointed a new CEO named Stephen Rees-Lewis, who talked through the latest product updates in videos posted to social media. Eventually, however, Lewis revealed he was a paid actor in Thailand named Stephen Harrison. He said he'd been shocked to learn that HyperVerse was real. He thought he was just reading lines for an acting gig. By mid-2022, investors found themselves unable to withdraw funds, and the HyperVerse platform stopped functioning properly.
Right, so Mark Gamble was the guy that actually read that article. I helped with this information for this article. Sarah Martin has actually published 14 articles. I got it mentioned in article number 14. Thanks very much, Sarah. And the same with the Bloomberg article. There's no mention to me providing a lot of information here. And I'm not trying to say I've got the credit, but this information here, from this article, we actually managed to find the real Stephen Rees-Lewis, which is absolutely fantastic. So there's been a lot of input, but this is great to get a lot of information factual on Bloomberg that we can use to refer to about the scam.
Lee then said publicly that he himself was just a tech provider, not the mastermind behind HyperVerse, and blamed secret newer owners of the company for the collapse. US authorities disagreed. This past January, the SEC and Dodge filed the fraud charges against Lee, saying he was centrally involved with HyperVerse and its related companies. When the charges came in, Lee went on Zoom calls with investors to protest his innocence, while US authorities arrested and charged associates who put their feet on American soil. Lee continued operating in Dubai.
Right, so if you want to see those videos, you'll have to do a big scroll on my video section of my website, but there is actually videos here with Tammy Jackson, Gobi, all the scumbags, the bottom feeders of the world. You know, you even got videos of, like this one here's a real classic. Just quickly.
Me and giving me this responsibility.
So this is
operations. First of all,
this is Shavas Anwar telling us that he is working for Hypertech Group and is working for Hyper One, which is Sam Lee's company. So if you want to have a field day and you want to go through, just go to my video section and scroll down until about a year and a half ago or a year ago, and you'll see the whole timeline of Sam Lee and everything he's been doing. I've got it all, brothers and sisters, and I'm not going to stop. It may some of you. I mean, She's been doing videos just 48 hours ago claiming that that I am a scammer and need to have my YouTube channel removed off the internet because I'm doing prank phone calls of her. And it's not even me doing the prank phone calls. But you can see here, these are the videos of Stephen Reese Lewis, the fake CEO. These are videos of Sharvis working for Stable Opinion, which is Sam Lee's company. We've got all the HyperVerse stuff here. We've got the original Sam Lee working with his company in Melbourne. It was rumoured that Kalpesh Patel has made $86 million from all this. Even show you how to tie a tie, just in case you want. And there's the board meeting. So this is the board meeting, which I'll open up a new window, of them in Dubai. This is only a 320 DPI having the board meeting. It's only about 4 minutes long, but I've got it all. I've got more information about HyperVerse than anybody on the planet. I'm really proud of that. But anyway, let's carry on. So that's Dubai. That's a sandy. Imagine building a city like that on a desert. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? About the only thing going for Dubai if you're into scams. All right, let's go for the next paragraph.
Visitors who venture beyond Dubai's dense rows of skyscrapers and glitzy hotels quickly find themselves in the desert. Construction cranes dot the landscape. Buses take migrant labourers to work brutal construction jobs, and dusty skies hang over brown grass. Dubai Silicon Oasis, a sleepy tech hub on the city's outskirts, housed Lee's centre of operations during the past year. Garrett Blackus Lee, a former business partner who visited Lee's space earlier this year, says inside there were maybe 100 different offices, just crammed to the top with people from other countries, all on computers, creating pump and dump tokens. Blackus Lee, who says he split from Lee after becoming concerned about his operations, says Lee ran a number of fake crypto ventures there and at a crumbling hotel in Ras Al Khaimah, an emirate north of Dubai. This supports the allegations US authorities have levelled against several of the ventures in formal warnings to them.
Right, so at the moment, Garrett, he was talking to me last night on the phone. He's devastated at the moment. He's finding it hard to find somewhere to live. He's moved into somewhere new. He's been there 3 days. The person he's moved in was changed their mind. He's currently looking for a place to live. If you are in Dubai and you have a place where Garrett Blacksley could stay, please reach out to me. He would be most grateful. At the moment, there's a GoFundMe page, which I'll stick in the link. You can fund him, get him home. He's currently got no travel documents, so he can't leave, but he's working with Dubai as best he can to get his travel documents returned. So if you can help Garrett get home, please donate. He needs $1,000 to get home. Oh no, he's 1.5 and he's 1.5. He's just updated. It was asking for 3 originally, then he worked it out. He only needs 1.5 to get home. But he's currently got nowhere to live in Dubai. And he's very upset, and I'm keeping an eye on him. I talk to him probably every couple of days, so that's really important. But as I said, a lot of people in Dubai are trapped there. Slave labour. You know, he was talking about last night, he said people who are like plumbers and tradies get treated earning working for $2 or $3 an hour. It's just absolute crazy. So let's see if we can get Garrett home. And if you've got any accommodation and you're living in Dubai and you'll be willing to let Garrett stay with you, he just wants to get home.
In interviews,
Good morning.
Lee said he had 3 office spaces in Dubai with 150 full-time workers, plus 1 large call centre in Ras Al Khaimah and a big team of workers in India. During a visit to the Dubai area building Blackus Lee visited, Business Week found the site cordoned off, with no one permitted to enter.
So we believe that the complex where he was operating out of has been closed down. I've got videos here of Sam Lee walking around claiming he's got 5,000 staff, and he pointed out 8 buildings. He has 8 buildings that he owned as a billionaire, and that's the bullshit he used to tell people. So don't believe anything Sam Lee says. Any announcement is just bullshit, poos and wheeze. He's a friggin' liar, scammer, bottom feeder of the world, needs to be locked up and the key thrown away.
Over the course of his years in Dubai, Lee has created a series of crypto enterprises that briefly promised great returns before falling apart, according to investors. There was Stable Deo, started in 2022, which claimed to recover lost crypto funds. It received a desist and refrain order last year from California regulators, who accused it of being a fraudulent pyramid and Ponzi scheme. Around that time, Lee introduced VidaLook, a platform that paid people for watching ads after they forked over an initial subscription fee. A few months in, VidaLook stopped allowing people to withdraw their money, and many began complaining that they'd been scammed. In late 2023, his investment company We Are All Satoshi also received a desist and refrain order from California regulators, who called it, too, a pyramid and Ponzi scheme. We Are All Satoshi says the California allegation is out of date because Lee no longer runs the company, though it also says its business model remains the same. Both Stable Deo and VidaLook are defunct.
Look, these videos here, some of these videos I had to remove and I've put them back, and it's a long story explaining why. But you can see that Tammy Jackson, and you've got Sam Lee, Sharvis in here. You've got all these videos. This is a video where Sam Lee's business partner has been detained because Garrett explains why that was happening. But Garrett's actually been brilliant for a source of information and provide us information. But if you go back, like I said, you know, we've even got stories of Sharvis claiming he swum into the server room when Dubai had its floods to save the servers. But the servers are hosted in India. So you just get all these lies all the time. It's just incredible. But don't forget, some of the big players that have been involved in this have just walked away with a whole ton of money. So do go through. Here's $102,000 been scammed by Yvonne Henry. I was in Australia a couple of weeks ago at the Global Financial Crime Summit 2024. I met 150 delegates from around the world that fight crime full time. I've got some really good contacts in Australia now. I've given them this video to investigate about this couple who lost 100. This was to Stable Deo and Sam Lee. It's just incredible. Anyway, I better go. I'm meant to be going for a run in about 20 minutes, and I'm hoping I'll have this finished first.
After the US fraud charges were announced in January, Lee carried on with new shingles that sounded much like previous ones. He promoted Satoshi Math Club, a social group he ran that he suggested could help predict the future, and a VitaLook spin-off called VEND that promised daily returns of 3%.
Yes, it was a Satoshi Math Club. It was the dumbest thing ever. And the lady that was running that, her name was something McDonald, and we found her. So this is the videos of Sam. We had breakfast with Sam. So just look for the omelette, one with the omelette. But here's Sam actually walking around the streets of Dubai.
3 floors, and he pointed downwards. So now I found out there's...
So Sam walked in...
guys, buying watermelon cups.
Now, for those who have been following my Zoom...
So this is, you know, if you want to follow with this stuff, this is Sam walking through...
Let's do some raspberry.
He's given us a run-through of his daily life as he walks into his offices, claiming he's got 5,000 staff working for him. It's just ridiculous. All right, let's have a look here.
A couple days after the Dubai Marina interview, Lee brought some of his colleagues to an interview at a coffee shop on Dubai's Happiness Street, where he was simultaneously helping to run a networking event for memecoin enthusiasts. In the windows of the coffee shop, there were Mercedes-Benzes for sale. Among those present was a man named Sakthi Visikan Rajaguru, who, Lee said, was helping to run the low-cost workforce in Chennai, India, that was keeping his websites online. Rajaguru described his operation as an educational venture teaching crypto-related skills to about 20,000 young Indians.
I've never even heard of that guy. So there's somebody else we could get information about and find out more about. You know, it's just a rabbit hole. I mean, I didn't get paid for doing this. I really appreciate the supports that I get from people. But I don't get paid for this, and the time I spend researching is just ridiculous. But we just go down rabbit holes all the time.
At the coffee shop, Lee described 2 new projects, smart contracts that would allow people to upload their CVs to the blockchain, and tokens that companies could issue as rewards to loyal customers. Periodically, he decamped to the next table to network and listen to a young mentee talk up the week's popular memecoins to potential investors. Tops on the list were Ponk, a coin symbolized by a monkey often wearing a green helmet, and Mew, a cat with an angry stare. Privately, however, Lee made it clear he didn't respect the people seeking his help finding the next big thing. These kinds of investors were just a bunch of losers, he said.
Right, so we were just yesterday, I was asking for Andrew, I can't even say his name properly.
Andrew Keyser,
and this he's been involved with these scams all the way through, and I put out a video just a few days ago. So these are the sort of pictures they're talking about. And then I put out this video, and my Avengers go, we've already found out who he is. So who is Crypto Tech? Well, it's Andrew Keyser. I've been chatting to his son. That's the guy there. So these wee images here, there's nothing new. All about NFTs, that particular conversation, I believe.
The US Federal Trade Commission received about 200 complaints against HyperVerse or some version of it between 2021 and early 2024. People from the US and dozens of other countries reported that the company had cost them as much as $200,000 apiece. Now that it's time for me to get my money out of there, they put it in pending and won't let me have it back, wrote an investor from Palmdale, California. In the English city of Reading, Reading, therapist Diksha Chakravarti invested 14,000. She lost all. She's since made back some of her money through a wealth recovery company that negotiated reimbursement with her bank. I never had aspirations to be a millionaire, but I wanted to have something for retirement, says Chakravarti, who's 67. I would have liked to have retired by
All right, we stuffed that up because I was trying to speed it up a little bit. Let's try that again.
now that it's time for me to get my money out of there. They put it in pending and won't let me have it back, wrote an investor from Palmdale, California. In the English city of Reading, therapist Diksha Chakravarti invested £14,000 of her nest egg, impressed by video presentations that showed the Burj Khalifa in the background. She lost all of her stake, and so did the friends and relatives who heard her talk up the investment. She's since made back some of her money through a wealth recovery company that negotiated reimbursement with her bank. I never had aspirations to be a millionaire, but I wanted to have something for retirement, says Chakravarti, who's 67. I would have liked to have retired by now.
Yeah, so there is a lot of banks being forced to hand over people's money because they didn't do due diligence in telling people not to invest. However, I've been approached by people who said that if I push people their way, they would give me a percentage of the recovery fee, and I don't do that. I'm not interested in it. But there has been some banks forced to hand back their money because they didn't do enough to warn the people. And would you believe some of these people I've told that to, they say, oh yeah, I've tried that, but they already did warn me, but I did it another way instead. And it's like, oh, you can't help some people. If your bank's trying to warn you about giving your money over to some scammer, you've got to listen to them. It's not rocket science.
In some cases, Dubai's justice system can be punishing. In 2016, a phony foreign exchange company called Essential Group was revealed to have conned thousands of Emiratis out of hundreds of millions of dollars. The company was shut down by Dubai authorities, and a Dubai court sentenced the companies to Indian operators to 513 years in prison and imposed the same sentence in absentia on one of their wives. More broadly, however, the country has yet to legislate explicitly on crypto crime.
Yeah, look at that. 513 years. And we'll chuck your wife in with you. She can be fined as well. Isn't that incredible? Imagine being locked up for 513 years. That doesn't add up, does it?
The UAE has responded, in its way, to international pressure. In 2022, after the country was placed on the international grey list, the government said it would prosecute more cases tied to illicit finance and increase cooperation with international law enforcement agencies. Dubai, for its part, created a crypto regulator called the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. So far, the largest fine the agency has issued, against the crypto exchange OPNX for operating without the proper license, is $2.7 million. This spring, while Binance Holdings Limited was reeling from a $4 billion settlement with US authorities over allegations of money laundering and sanctions violations, some countries took steps to stop it from operating locally. But VARA issued the company a fresh license. On the question of alleged scams such as HyperVerse and its cousins, VARA has been largely silent. VARA is committed to ensuring the virtual asset ecosystem in Dubai is secure, transparent and compliant, the agency said in a statement. It declined to comment on individual companies.
Hello, Susie. Hello, Crypto Domino. Nice to have you here. Sorry, I'm in a bit of a rush today. I'm hoping to
The
have it
International
finished.
Financial Action Task Force took the UAE off its grey list in February. But 2 months later, the good government non-profit Transparency International said the country had done little to discourage fraud in the time between its addition to the list and its removal. A spokesperson for the task force didn't comment on that assessment but said in a statement, the UAE was told that it must continue to combat high-risk money laundering when it was removed from the grey list, and continues to be subject to monitoring. Utsk, the former IRS investigator, says Dubai authorities have ultimately continued to defer to business interests. They want to appear tough on crime, he says, but they also want to be at the forefront of innovation.
This isn't innovation. This is scammery. It's disgusting. And, and they just want to do it. They're prideful people, obviously, and they just want to do it to keep face. But they're really doing absolutely nothing. I mean, if $2.7 million is the only fine they're given when Dubai is the cesspool of all scams, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just like giving somebody a parking ticket, isn't it?
Earlier this year, 2 American HyperVerse promoters were arrested on US soil, and both have since been charged with defrauding people of millions of dollars. They face years in prison. One has pleaded guilty and is awaiting sentencing. This could be why American crypto entrepreneurs in Dubai were less eager than Lee to meet for interviews.
Yeah.
Among the reluctant was John Barksdale, an American in Dubai who, the SEC says, defrauded investors out of $124 million with his fake cryptocurrency, or Mears coin. If he's extradited to the US, he'll have to deal with a $79 million default judgment handed down in his absence. He's also facing criminal charges that carry prison sentences with maximums ranging from 5 to 20 years. Barksdale didn't respond to requests for comment.
John. Now, I've been chatting to John on text, and I know it's the real John, so I've had the privilege of doing that. He's actually been, he reckons he can get himself out of this, would you believe? And it's him and his sister who's been charged. Now, I don't know, did it actually, I got distracted there for a bit, but so one has pleaded guilty, so maybe his sister has pleaded guilty, but he was arrested in Thailand. It's quite an interesting thing. I actually reached out to him because I had his phone number. He asked me how I got it, and I said, don't ask. So he was, I've got photos of him with Sam. I actually might be able to bring one of those up. If I look for John, we'll see how clever we are with my system, eh? John, I always forget how to spell his last name. Banksdale, wasn't it? I'll just try John. Let's see, John, load more. John's a bit of a general name, isn't it, really? Not really going to be the best. There he is. So there you go. So that's John, and there's a photo of him and Sam Lee together. And that's his sister, I believe. And you can see here, I'm not having you on, I've had conversations with him. You can come in here and you can see the conversations that I've had with John and how he believes that he can get his way out of it. Now, he has stopped communicating with me, but there was a whole recording of me talking to him and going through the documents that he's been charged with and the like. So, look, here it is here, charged conspiracy to commit fraud, all the correspondence. We have it all, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll stop that now there, and we'll go back to this article. Interesting stuff, though, isn't it? I mean, every single person in this article I've had some form of text conversation with, or a physical, verbal conversation over Zoom. I remember last time I got in a Zoom meeting with Sam Lee, he just shut up and let me talk while they were trying to figure out how to shut me up and get me out of the room. It was friggin' hilarious. All right, next paragraph.
During one interview, Lee showed off texts that appeared to be from Barksdale, saying he turned down the chance to talk because he doesn't want to poke the bear. Lee said, "A lot of people are just very cautious," but added that, as an Australian, he was less worried about blowback from US authorities. In another interview, he said part of what motivated him to speak with Business Week was that he was working on a redemption arc, trying to clear his name in the court of public opinion.
What's this here? Crypto Donono. We've got a code name so we keep his privacy. And he said, "Hey, Richard. Are you trying to hide your own identity?" It doesn't look like it. Did we get anything from that? During the interview, Lee showed off text that appeared to be from Baxter. Well, I just did that. That's not such a big deal, Sam. I don't know who Sam Lee thinks he is. I mean, I believe the best way to get Sam Lee was to get him doing something illegal locally with the Dubai police and then go report him. I don't know why he's protected. There is some information I can't share, but there was some pretty amazing, let's say, Chinese mafia cartels type people that he hangs out with.
2 months after those interviews, however, Lee's communications abruptly stopped. Conducting a series of follow-up conversations in Dubai with several of his peers and colleagues, Business Week attempted to reach Lee for a similar follow-up, but her queries went unanswered. In November, US authorities announced that Lee had been detained in a Dubai prison for several weeks. The day after this story was published in early December, Lee contacted Business Week to say he'd just been released. He said he'd surrendered himself willingly when he learned an Interpol red notice had been issued for his arrest, and that he was working to clear himself of the charges, and would resume his work on crypto ventures. 2. It's business as usual, he said. Inquiries to US and UAE authorities about the possibility of his extradition went unanswered. The US criminal charges carry a maximum of 5 years in prison.
Just 5 years. Now, isn't that just ridiculous? That whole paragraph there. Because remember I came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago and I said Sam Lee has been detained. Well, detained because he alleges, and this doesn't mean it's true or factual, that he went in after finding out about this, what do they call, Interpol red light thing, where basically everyone from Interpol that's connected, they issue this thing out there, and then he's gone in there and handed himself in. Oh, what a hero, Sam. To clear his name, and it's business as usual. Well, let's see if he comes in and takes Chavez's role back. It's just ridiculous when you hear stuff like that. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what is the world where somebody can go steal millions of dollars through... He's like the CEO of Hypertech Group, in my opinion. Sam Lee's not taking the money, but Sam Lee is probably now going to become an informant and help people research where all the money goes. This is just the most dumbest thing I've ever heard.
While HyperVerse is dead, money from the exchange has been withdrawn slowly since its implosion, sometimes transferred through a Dubai crypto exchange called Coin without applying for a license with VARA. About a third of CoinWest transactions come directly from HyperVerse, according to data from crypto intelligence group Chainalysis. Matthew Stern, the CEO of crypto consulting firm CNC Intelligence Incorporated, says this trail should have alarmed CoinWest compliance department. Best case, this points to significant gaps in their compliance procedures. He says, worst case, there could be complicity. In a statement, the company said, CoinWest does not have any formal association or endorsement of HyperVerse. It added, we take compliance very seriously and remain committed to safeguarding the integrity of our platform.
Thanks for the chats along the way. You'll see those questions and comments coming up on the top of the screen. I don't know. Sometimes you feel like this is just poos and wees. People just getting away with scammery, isn't it, really?
Even if the authorities end Lee's run of alleged scams, the ecosystem he thrived in won't disappear overnight. May Somervu, a former saleswoman of Lee's who says about 26,000 people joined HyperVerse through her, promotes what she calls crypto opportunities on a regular rotation of Zoom calls from California. We're not scammers, she says, stressing that crypto businesses are high risk and investors should be prepared for volatility. Nobody's putting a gun to their heads. Crypto promoter Jorge Sebastiano, whose Yem coin is under investigation in Germany, talks up crypto projects at weekly networking events in Dubai's Paramount Hotel. He says he was just the front man for Yem and doesn't promote the coins showcased at his networking meetups. I just give a platform, and people can decide for themselves.
Yeah, so just 48 hours ago, 3 days ago actually, this here caught on tape Danny de Hek. This is May Somervu, who's trying to fight back against me, because I've exposed her for being a scammer. And she claims that she's a victim. So if you want to have a look at that, you'd actually laugh. With Bob rang her up the other day to book her Airbnb. She's a washed-up scammer that's trying to continue to scammers. But, that's not the end of it. Like, I have got so many other people that have tried to stop me doing what I'm doing, claiming that I'm the scammer, which is absolutely just friggin' hilarious. I'm trying to find... Oh, yeah, here we go. So we've got this one here. Oh, that one's got taken down. Funny that. The facts about Danny de Hek. So somebody's even set up a complete whole blog about me, and I can't even get this removed of YouTube unless I go through every single video, and then they block them from my country and the rest of the world can see them. So 12 videos, 148 subscribers, facts about Danny de Hek, and you think, oh yeah, and then we've got this one here, which has another one. And then I don't even know what this name represents, but if you search for this name, you'll find a whole series of blogs being set up. I think if you go to dannydehek.org, you can find a whole website dedicated to me. So this is somebody who's ripped off what looks like my whole website and trying to claim something. And all these photos are all copyrighted as well, which doesn't mean anything. But they're trying to claim that I'm associated with OneCoin of some sort. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, why do people come after me for? And why did they do it so poorly? I mean, this is the dumbest thing ever. Look, this photo here is me. This is the photo of me in the press newspaper. If you want to go to the genuine site, just go to dehek.com and you'll see that I have been featured in Behind MOM, the New York Times, The Guardian, ABC News, the Star News, the Target Gold. These are articles where, like the press. Here's a article about me, how I've actually took on an American businessman who tried to do a gag writ against me, a slap they call it. Here's an whole article about how I managed to defend a $3.8 million lawsuit against a scammer. And an hour and a half before the High Court judge opened the file, he decided to, file a discontinuance. I mean, if you want to find out about me and what I'm doing, I am the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. I do publish articles. So here's the article that from the very blog that we're doing right now, not blog, but this is the thumbnail for the live that I'm doing right now. Here's the live. Here's the link to the Bloomberg article. There's the author of the article. And now, unfortunately, they haven't used my name in the article once, even though I spent 8 months of my life helping them out. But if you go to buy me a cup of coffee on my website and support what I'm doing, it would be much appreciated. But if you go to buymeacupofcoffee.com/de Hek, you'll find me and another video about what I'm actually doing. You can go to post, and in the post area, I try to keep up to date, but occasionally I need to sleep. And here's the article about Sam Lee release, shocking Bloomberg report on HyperVerse scam, business as usual. And scammers just get away with it. And there's the article that we're talking about right now. And it's just pretty cool. So we'll keep reading the article. But obviously, this one here has to take the cake, because that's Chavis Anwar. Now, he offered me $10,000 if I found his last name. He's never paid me. But how do I get his last name? Because he tried to do a copyright strike on one of my videos and had to use his real name to do so. And it failed again. The videos are still online. People who try to do copyright strikes make me absolutely laugh. If you go to my, I had 2 copyright strikes last month, right? And they were from a guy. Now, whereabouts is he? So they should be back online, those videos, but they are not. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they are. So this guy here is a scammer who tried to promote 32 Ponzi schemes and scams, and I did a YouTube short showing that he isn't letting people have my right of reply. He did a copyright strike on that particular short and obviously lost. It takes 10 business days for them to review it. And then he did another one the next day. I spent 70 to 80 hours. And in here, I've done a YouTube short. So that these scammers get away with reporting these videos, and YouTube don't do anything to stop them. They just give them the right to, understand. Cause, like this yacht club one. These people here are total friggin' scammers in Australia. And they now block these videos so no one in Australia can see them. I mean, what the hell is YouTube doing? I spent hours. This week has been the worst week I've ever had, probably emotionally, financially, and everything. Because I spend all my friggin' time going after these friggin' scammers trying to cause disruption. Most of my time is documenting, archiving, putting that information in my database, trying to convince people who don't believe it's a friggin' scam, people who believe that they're going to get 1% return. If they give somebody $1,000, they're going to get 1% return a day. So they're going to get $10 a day from giving somebody $1,000. Are you stupid? That isn't possible. How many days have they got before they've used up all your $1,000 to pay you back your $10 a day? Well, they've got 100 days, haven't they? And then if you recruit somebody, you're going to get 20% of the stupid dumbass's money, or 50%, or in HyperVerse's account, you're going to get 52% of that money. Wake up. What part of it? You need to wake up. I mean, Chavis is now telling people that he's got a pre-sale on a credit card. You can purchase a 9-pay credit card. So you go to, now we knew this address before anyone else did. You go to 9pay.vn, I think. If I got it right. It's going to be embarrassing if I got it wrong. No, that's another company. So it's NV, is it? NV. Oh my God, I've forgotten what the address is. No, it can't be that. It may be CV. Oh, I don't know where it is now. But I did have it. NV. I'm sure it's something to do with Vietnam. NV. No, but anyway, 9pay. 9pay app. Not app, is it? But there's so many of these dumb schemes that he's got. Somebody will probably chuck that in the room and we'll go back there. But he's claiming that he's got a credit card where when you use the credit card, it's more like a debit card, but it will take the money directly off your balance. He believes he's got his own blockchain called BTCC, which is a game of Monopoly. And within that game, he allows you to buy products that he releases. So one of the products that he released the other day, now this is not quite correct, I'll make sure I get it right in a minute, but doodoo.com is a company that has a dumb extinct bird as well. They had the contact details for doodoo.com on the website address for this new scam that he's come out with, and it's dodo.app. And this website is basically claiming that you can purchase trading data, historical trading data. You can look at the products, and you go in here, and you can see the maximum profit. So you'll buy this 9,950 historical trade. You'll buy that for $9,959, and they will take 1% fee for giving you these trades. And if you're really stupid, you would do that. Or you could just go to these historical trades down here that were here and just go directly to an exchange and put your money on this one here if you think it's going to grow another 18% per day. It just goes on and on and on. What, Richard? Watch, he'll call me Richard. I did call you Richard. Oh, thank you very much, Susie. Okay, so then the 9pay one is the really big one. So I knew Susie is absolutely fucking amazing. Excuse my French, Susie, because you are always here, and Richard as well, and helping me provide links when I can't find them in a hurry, because this is recorded live if you're watching the rerun. But this is 9pay. This is the dumbest thing ever. This is a company that claims that they have Visa backing them. This is a thing. If you want to get involved with this, you can be part of a pre-sale. And hello, Dickie. God. Hi, Brooke. Susie, right. So this is a company that's got Visa's logo all over it. You can buy these. You can sign up for a pre-sale. They're going to have an app. You can get a gold card or a titanium card. You know, normal bullshit. Poos and wees. Every scam I know has a credit card that's coming out. Sharvis, we have a video of Sharvis, and I have to show you this now. I've gone down this rabbit hole. If we go to Millernote, where is Millernote? There's Millernote. And if I go to persons of interest, and if I go, I think we need to go to Sharvis, which is in here somewhere. So here's Sharvis. Right, and now we've got videos. And here's a video of Sharvis.
Thanh toán bằng NiPay này.
Đồ India,
À.
đồ India tại
India.
I'm paying with my card.
Okay, so what he's telling people there is he's paying with my card, meaning he's paying with his own 9pay card, right? And now they go, oh, wow, that's incredible. And they hold up the receipt showing you that he did a transaction with any old friggin' credit card. And there's the transaction. Now, this is even stupider on stupider because this credit card isn't released yet. So here's Sharvis telling everyone in the pre-sale to wait. Just buy the card in the pre-sale because we're still waiting for Visa to approve it. And they're saying that Visa didn't like the idea they had a photo of a Bitcoin on the credit card and they had to go back and reprint all the credit cards. I mean, this is stupid. So here he is using a credit card that hasn't been released yet to prove that the credit card works. And people are buying that. So let's go back to our article and let's read about this poster boy, Sharvis Anwar. And remember, before I get carried away, there's videos in here. I already got carried away, haven't I? Videos in here of Sharvis claiming he works for Hypertech Group. And he is promoting Stable Opinion and Stable Deo and Hyper One. These are videos. I've got them. These are videos of him showing us who he's working for. My chat room's going off. What are you guys saying? Susie looking at, everyone's saying g'day. Good go. All right, so I'll put these messages on the top. You can read the chat room as we go. But it just gets ridiculous. So let's see what Bloomberg say about Sharvis. And if you're a Sharvis lover, then you've got to listen to this research that one of the biggest newspapers in the world has put together about Sharvis. Here we go.
Sharvis Anwar, the young formerly protege who helped develop Stable Deo and has taken over We Are All Satoshi from Lee, says he now has 120 employees working on various projects, some on a company called Bitcoin Code. This
Okay, I've got to stop it there. 120 employees working on various projects on this Bitcoin code. Right, now remember, this here is the warning from Money Smart in Australia. In here, you've got Hcash, Hypercash, right? So if we go to Hcash and go to websites, we've got Hcash there, and then we're going to go to there. Right, so Hcash, this is their blockchain. I think it's Hcash. So this is their blockchain. And then we've got the new blockchain for BTC. Do you notice any difference here? Does it look like it's the same organization? This software is unique. And Hcash, HyperVerse, $4 billion scam, BTCC. Yeah, BTCC. So this is Chavez's blockchain, which he claims is worth a heap. I'm not answering the phone yet. I'm not answering the phone, not going into chat yet. I'm going on my rant. I'll do it later. So this is the blockchain BTC20, right? And as you can see here, you come in here and they claim their token, their own blockchains, is worth $129 a token. They released miners. You could buy a miner, and then you'd start mining, and then they told you if you wanted to harvest, you needed to purchase BTCC. No, you didn't. You needed to purchase B fuel, and B fuel was costing you like $100. So you'd pay this. I'm not answering the phone at the moment. I'm on a rant. So I didn't actually have a chance. I'll answer it in a few seconds, but not yet. What? Bring it back if you want. It might not come through. Danny, you run in place. We talk. All right. So okay. So if you want to chat, my Avengers are wanting me to go into this public thing and have a chat. So I'll just turn that on, and you guys can listen in the background. I just want to reiterate about BTC. This is his own blockchain. Within here, people get a discount when they buy his products, but they always need to use at least 60% USDT to purchase the products. So we've got Chavez here, and this is the massive thing. I don't even know where this photo come from. I've actually used it in the thumbnail, so I haven't given credits yet to the photographer, but I will do. But let's have a listen to this. So he claims he's got 120 employees, but there's no proof of them. He's never ever shown anyone. He claims that he's got a server room based in Dubai that he waded into out of water up to here when his servers show us that they're hosted in Dubai. Look at you guys, we just shut up in the chat room. It's friggin' annoying. Right, I'm going to have to ring up my Avengers because they're starting to harass me, and I can't even figure out how to do that. I'm a bit wound up, to be honest. Chats. There we go. There we go. All right. So I'll ring up I'll do a group call on the Avengers, and you can answer it and join in there. But in the meantime, we're going to carry on reading this paragraph and see what else we can learn about Chavez.
This company supposedly allows investors to do their own crypto mining. From his luxury apartment in a suite of condos overlooking the bird, he also just introduced a crypto index called Dodo and a crypto credit card called 9pay that he claims is supported by Visa Incorporated. And far from being an enemy of Vara, he says he often consults with the agency pro bono, offering his insight into the crypto ecosystem. People like me, we have been very friendly with regulators, he says. We want to help them regulate properly.
So Chavez is claiming he's very friendly with regulators, and people like Visa know nothing about him at all. So what is it, cowboys and Indians? I mean, what are we doing here? Are we believing the authorities in the real world? It's poos and wheeze, all right. We've got another paragraph coming up here.
Visa said in a statement that it has no relationship with 9pay. Vara deviated from its stated policy of not commenting on individual companies to say that not only does it not work with Anwar, but it's also never heard of him, with Abir Abu, Omar, Ben Bardenstein and Zekfo.
Now, just listen to that paragraph again. Do we need to read that again? Visa said in a statement they have no relationship with 9pay or Vera. What the hell? So where's this friggin' 9pay circus act and the doo-doo poo-poo friggin' thing come from? Why is he taking money from people in a pre-order when Visa have no association with this credit card? I mean, why don't you do your due diligence? Because that's what they tell you guys to do. You guys are going to do your due diligence, right? This is your due diligence. This is time to wake up. You need to wake up. Friggin' scammers. These are scammers. You're losing your money. And you're part of the circus. You're in the circus with the circus animals. You're on the stage listening to all these what they call leaders out there. If you can do your own due diligence, then ring up the people from Visa and ask, is this 9Pay backed by Visa? And when they come back and go, we don't know who the hell you're talking about, normally we can't share you this information because we have customer confidentiality acts. It's pretty obvious that Chavez is not one of their customers.
A promoter of a genuine product.
They're all friggin' idiot. So the very last of the story, and I will give it, I will read the very last paragraph, and then we'll have a chat to the Avengers. Rob, if you want to ring up on, what do you call that thing? WhatsApp, you'll be able to join the conversation. Or I'll give you a link.
The story was written with support from the Blake Schmidt Reporting Fellowship, established in honour of our Bloomberg News colleague, who was fearless in covering important stories on the ground in dozens of countries. Rest in peace, Blake. Updated 33rd through 35th paragraphs with news of Lee's release. Fresh comment from Lee and the status of CoinWest license application.
Right, well that sort of that's my 2 cents worth, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I honestly don't know. I can actually say I've actually put my life into going after this HyperVerse thing. I have literally cost myself more time and money than I can actually afford to put in it. It is probably the most emotional thing I've actually put my heart and soul into. I've watched $4 billion disappear from mum and dad investors. I've watched families being destroyed because of these scams. I've watched break-offs come from the scam. I spent 8 months helping provide as much information to get an article like this on the internet. We've got 14 articles from the Guardian newspaper in Australia. This is a bloody good article because the main thing I get out of this article is Sam Lee's free again. Sam Lee's got himself out of prison. Sam Lee was incarcerated. I got that information right.
Hogwash.
Well, he was, and whether he's out, if he is out, it's only Sam Lee's words. And when do you start believing the words of a scammer? When? Never is the answer you're looking for. You don't believe Sam Lee. He's just a nobody. And he hasn't got any money. So anyone that says we're going to do a class action lawsuit against HyperVerse or Sam Lee, you're getting scammed again. I'm not even going to mention the guy's name who claims that he's got 20,000 people who are going to...
I'll say it.
No, we don't need to say it. We don't need to give him any... We don't even need to give him any credit because he had 40 people working for him when HyperVerse was at its peak. He was on the phones. He was working everyone's friends and family to get them to invest in HyperVerse. And now he's been promoting We Are All Satoshi. He's been promoting, I think, even VidiLook and VAV, all Sam Lee products. And now he comes out telling people, now Boomerang as well. I don't know about Boomerang. But he's been out there promoting that he's going to do a class action lawsuit against Sam Lee. I mean, what an idiot. So that's my 2 cents worth. Right, over to you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want to touch on something from earlier with what you're saying. Like, how is it that Rory Kantor can bring forth...
I didn't want to say his name, and you just disrespected me by saying his name. He's the thing. He's a scammer.
How can we bring forth...
Because you know what happens, Richard? You know what happens when you just did that? Everyone who doesn't believe me goes off and supports Rory Kantor. And then they go to him and they look for his... No, listen. They go and listen to him because they think that there's a hope they're going to get their money back. And I don't want them to even know about that guy.
I can't... Okay, then in response to that, Danny, I can't be the only starfish. I'm not a freaking award on the Danny de Hek wall. I can't be the only one that talks back to Danny. Does anybody freaking hear me? Because I have a freaking voice. You want to listen?
Yeah, you do. But the Roy Kantor thing is just a joke, and
Forget the name. Here's the point. The point is how can somebody be so stupid to want to go get the money but they can't step forward like Danny has, and like I'm on the freaking call with you, and say to the world, say to the people that write these freaking bogus articles, say to the people that want to have these false lawsuits, who the freaking heck are you people talking to? The article says Sam Lee can get 5 years.
I know. No,
They don't even say what the charge is.
Yeah.
They say Sam Lee gave up the business to freaking Chavez. That's equivalent with somebody being bent over the desk right now being raped. And they're like, oh, I paid the electric bill. Now he pays the electric bill. So they're going to forget about the person being raped. You people are out of your freaking minds, man.
Yeah, I get you, Rich, and you're the most passionate person I know about it all as well. And I'm angry to the fact that a friggin' scammer can get a message and get it online to a reporter saying that he's out and business is normal.
How can they report on him and not report what the charges are?
Well, there is no friggin' charges, is there? What happened was
that's the freaking point.
Yeah.
Who are we talking to? That's what the problem is. Who the freaking heck are you people that are listening right now? Get off your freaking behind and do something, or else you suck as bad as the scammer.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. Can you not hear Richard, Rob? Please tell me you can hear Richard. And can you give me a serious answer? Because if the sound's not working, I'd like to know. Yeah, well, if you don't know anything about us, we are the Avengers, and we do spend a lot of our time. Richard was an original investor in We Are All Satoshi, and then one day Chavez got on a Zoom meeting and gave out my phone number, and everyone contacted me, about 20 people contacted me, in fact, telling me that I was an idiot. And I kept every time I went live on the internet, I sent back a message to those guys and said, I'm going live, watch some more evidence. And eventually some people, like Richard, listened and realised that they were being scammed. And now we have a team of Avengers. And we've also got some amazing connections. So we've got a database that you might have seen. I was flicking back and forth. That database is shared by 5 governments who fight crime. So, we've got a database of government officials that we can poke information to. The problems that we have is a lot of these governments can only work in their own jurisdiction. And as soon as I say I've got somebody in Australia, they go, oh, that's outside my jurisdiction. So we need some sort of like global entity. And when I hear things like, what's that thing, the red thing? Intel? No, what do they call it?
The red Interpol.
Now, Interpol might be the organisation that needs to fight. The Interpol might need to start accessing my database. Because I've got so many break-offs of Sam Lee's croonies. We've got like that Trade Technologies Limited, $91 million disappeared. They put out a statement saying that they got raided by Hong Kong and US officials. And that was their own statement. And then we contacted the US officials and the Hong Kong peoples, and they said, we don't know what you're talking about. We haven't raided any computers or servers. And then we've got people like Sean Tilley, who claims that they're still trading, arbitrage trading on the internet. I mean, Rob, who's in the chat room right now, we went to Boomerang's website, right-clicked on it, and spent about 2 or 3 weeks studying the code. We found all the claims of arbitrage trading was fake. We could actually tell somebody to go in there and grab this exchange and trade with this exchange and trade for $86, for example. And when they traded, we'd tell them exactly how much money they would make. And when we proved that was the website that was proving all those results, the website come offline, and then they went to relaunch it. And then they did pre-sales. And they were telling people that they could buy these $500 licenses and make $1,500 in a day. When they launched it,
Danny, that's reporting. You're reporting what happened.
Well,
this article and you bringing information to Interpol, that is not reporting. That's not what news is. This is freaking sick, man. The problem is that what you just said. Who do we turn this information into? Because there's not one government body standing up to the face of what this really is. All this article does is deflect about what's going on. How many more years, whatever demographic that this person wrote this article, whoever they wrote it to, how many more years until that demographic is too old?
Don't you love
Answer
the
the freaking question.
Don't you love the title of it though? Dubai's
What?
alleged crypto scams.
Yeah. What's the purpose of putting this little at the end of a sentence, this little tidbit of information, and you're not pulling it all together and then telling the story?
Yeah.
It's like, who are you talking to? It's like watching somebody on the train talk to themselves.
Because
I don't know who that person's talking to.
we have to be PC, you see. This is the problem. I mean,
There's no political correctness. It does not exist.
no.
And you can't force my speech upon myself. Simple as that.
Yeah, I know. I just want to give you an example, though. This is Alice's first article. And don't get me wrong, Alice, because you will be watching this, I know. I'm not giving you a hard time. But I realise that this article has been rewritten, by the editors after you've produced it. And they removed a lot of content. If we went back and looked at Sarah Martin's very first article that she did on Sam Lee. Now, I remember Sarah had come out of maternity leave and she started her very first article that she wrote about Sam Lee, if I can find it, was actually quite lame and quite soft and quite PC. No, where is it? I must have gone back too far. She's been a reporter before and she had maternity leave and then she come back out. Here it is. So here's the whole series of articles. She's done 14 articles, and the very first one was I'll tell you what she was doing. She was ringing me up and cursing, telling me the friggin' editor is too worried that Sam Lee isn't really a convict, and Sam Lee could come out and sue the newspaper because they're the ones with the money. So she couldn't actually say all the things that she wanted to about Sam Lee. So when Alice reached out to me and said she's writing an article about Sam Lee, I said, oh, you probably won't ever publish anything about me because I'm too much like a bull in a china shop. But after this article came out, then she started doing other articles and started sneaking in other bits of information. And it was really quite good, but they needed to have a base article to build on. And this is where, you might be watching this video here, and you might think that your voice doesn't actually have a say, but you can write to Alice, you can write to the paper, you can comment on these articles, and you can give your bits of information, and this will inspire them to write follow-up articles that really get down and dirty. And this was a massive article. This was 8 months, and as far as I'm concerned, it was 8 months when Alice first reached out to us asking for information because she was writing an article. And these, like she said in some of the comments of these photos that you're looking at, they were hard to get photos that were current of Sam. And then you hear shocking stories where somebody sells their house and puts £130,000 into a Ponzi scheme where they were told that in 600 days they were going to get 3 times their return on investment. When they paid in that £130,000, that would have been converted to HU dollars. HU dollars was their stable token, so they told you. So everyone thought it was stable because it had the word stable in it. And then all of a sudden that token was then worthless. We had people like Bitcoin Rodney, who is incarcerated at the moment, who was willing to give away $45 million worth of HU token at one point because it was worthless. At one point it was worth $45 million. You know what I'm saying? So these people, because these people like Chavis tell you something, because somebody like Chavis has currently, what did we have just the other day? Chavis was in Vietnam releasing Dodo, and also what was he releasing? Dodo and 9pay to, and it was just shocking because there he is there 8 days ago.
What are you doing, fucking Joe?
Oops. Here he is just 8 days ago releasing what am I doing?
How to keep people out of your Zoom meetings. How do you keep? How can you?
I don't know what I'm doing there.
Why can't you keep me out of your Zoom meetings? You don't even know how to keep the. How can you talk about? How can you talk? How can you talk?
Where's that coming from?
Security.
There we go. I'll shut that down. That was when I went into Joe's room, and he's doing a talk about security. and I'm telling him, how can you do a talk about security when you can't get me out of your room?
Right.
Crypto G, nice to see you here, mate.
What's up, Crypto G? Danny, let me say something about what you were just saying about Chavez. So what pisses me off is the same stuff as with the article, and the government doesn't address this, right? So who are the people in the world right now when you're pointing out about Chavez? Like, he's over here promoting at this event in Vietnam these products coming out. So if he's getting over on however many people at that event and then taking that event and making it like a promotion worldwide, those people that are falling for it is a demographic. What about the people that can see what he's doing for what it is, that it's nothing more than a scam or a pump and dump? Where are all you freaking people in the world? And you know that you're out there. How does a CoffeeZilla video get 1 million views overnight? But then Danny de Hek's channel is shadow banned to the point where we don't even have people coming and talking about this crap. That's what I'm pointing out. I need to be pissed that I'm the only one talking about the fact that Danny has been watching Chavez for over a year, and there's not a single person that can come on here and be like, yeah, let's bring this stupid rat bastard down, because they're all fraud. They're all scammers. How could I possibly be the only one talking to Danny? How's it possible? You know that they're out there. Did you see the thing with the Hawk Tua girl, Danny?
The what?
The Hawk Tua girl had a promoter do a meme coin, right? Crypto.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
And it all okay, so how come millions of people can see that and they know what's being talked about? They can laugh at it, they can scorn the people, but then they can't come on here and be like, oh yeah, there's definitely a demographic for stupid people, but hello, why is it justifiable that it continues to go on not being addressed? It's insanity, man. That this I've been talking to you for a year, dude.
People don't realise as well, mate, we've actually tracked over $350 million have been paid into this since...
Boomerang?
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I think it's not just Boomerang. I think, was that just Boomerang? I think that was We Are All Satoshi, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
No, and
you had a number like that before I talked to you ever. And so what I put in the chat earlier before I called you is you're not even talking, like the article's talking about the freaking, you were kind of elaborating, but the point about you're going to get $10 a day or 10% or 1% a day. Hello, people. How does that scam end with Sam? Because the same scam was in Chavez's wallet, his pocket, when he supposedly took over. So what about the Vol Horizon writer of this article? You're going to be so intuitive to have your own information, but not validate point for point along the way in your article. You can't say where you got any of this information. You sit there and act like, oh, well, this tech person said this. It's such bull crap. You people, whoever you are that wrote this stuff, you need to get your own freaking channel or get your head out of your own freaking rear end because your freaking news company sucks.
Hold on.
Yo, say something, man.
That's not my point. That's not my point of view. Just
I'm not
Richard.
taking Danny's stance. Away from it.
Yeah, just
I get to speak for myself
because I've got to work with these guys.
Where I'm coming from, that's a problem.
I mean, you know, like I spent 8 months trying to get that. I'm trying to create awareness. I'm the one we're all actually vigilantes. We're actually jeopardizing our futures, our safety, and all sorts of things by exposing these scammers who've got more money than bull can shit. And, what I was hoping by spending hours and hours and hours providing information to any media company, is that we get some traction. Because I'm quite happy to put myself on the line, but I'm just hoping for a bit of a break And when you've only got 8,500 subscribers, which I love every one of you dearly, please don't leave, and please do subscribe if you haven't today. It's very hard work. So we ask people to share these videos on their social media and get the message out. Rob, I always respect what you say, and hopefully I will today. Give us your 2 cents worth, mate.
I think the main issue here is that you would have to listen, and there's heaps of morons out there who are not on your channel today and haven't been on your channel for the last week, month, or year, or whatever, who hear all this information day after day after day. Now, these people who are reporters or journalists, they don't hop into Zoom meetings. They haven't got the time, and they wouldn't want to do it anyway. But sometimes you need to listen to these things for weeks or months, just like we have, until you understand what's going on and you understand where the issues are. And the problem is that the real responsibility, apart from the actual scammers, is the people who have realized that they've lost their money and do nothing about it. They don't complain. They don't go to authorities. They don't go to journalists. And they're indebted as well in a way because they've recruited other people in, so they don't want to tell them that they've made a mistake. And so they leave quietly, as they were told to do by Keith Williams of HyperVerse ages ago. If you leave quietly.
Yeah. And 98% of people are actually those people. They're the ones. Trying to say is, I'm back now. 98% of people, if not 99% of people, don't say anything, and they're embarrassed. I mean, we went to this global, I always forget the name, but it's the Global Financial Crime Summit, and there was a guy on the stage that lost $1.8 million. He said, "F this, I'm going after my money." Do you know how much money he got back? $2.2 million. He used FWGlobal.com's King Gamble's services. They went over to Philippines. They caught the guy. Now, this is a hell of a story. It's going to hopefully be a movie. But they finished up finding the guy that was doing the Forex trading with them in the airport in Philippines. They arrested him and charged him really quickly in Philippines for stealing this guy's money. They said to him, "You give back the money that's in your bank account, which was $2.2 million, we'll let you walk free." He said, "No, get lost. I'm not going to do that." So it would have gone on for years, this court case. Finished up after 5 days of being in prison in Philippines with the Filipino commander guy sitting in the audience with us, that this guy thought he was going to die. So 50-degree temperatures in a tin shed, decided it would be a wise idea to give back the $2.2 million. And the guy that invested $1.8 million got $400,000 extra, which I'm sure he used to pay Kent's services. The syndicate that he was part of was another 7 guys. They're all based in the Philippines, had scammed over $100 million from people. They all got told to leave Philippines, and no one got charged. The whole story was absolutely amazing. Another lady, victim of a romance scam. We've got Kathy in here now. She lost $38,000 to a romance scam in Australia. First lady in Australian history to get the money back because she went to the banks. She didn't get it back from the scammer. She got it back from the banks because they didn't do due diligence. Another lady was on stage, an Australian lady, lost $315,000 to a romance scam. The guy that defrauded her had stole, I think, $50 million. He was arrested. And then she was she saw her boyfriend on the news being arrested for doing romance scams. I'm pretty sure I got some of that information wrong. The majority of these, so all these human trafficking compounds that we see, people working under duress, when you invest in these Ponzi schemes, you don't know where your money goes. Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, but
It's still going on right now.
What are you saying?
7, and it's still going on. You say it like the world doesn't know, like it started and stopped. It's going on right now. Somebody could be being killed right now in one of those compounds you're talking about.
Definitely, Richard.
And we're just like, oh yeah, well we're at least we're reporting the news here. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it is ridiculous. Now, to prove that, I've got a lady called Erin West. Now, if I go into my LinkedIn account, and just look at my feed, I can see that she's been posting stuff just in the last 24 hours. I could just go through here and I'll find that she is on a mission from God, I think. And, like I probably can't find anything in a hurry, but I have about, but anyway, she's got videos that comes out all the time, but she showed us these human trafficking compounds at this event that we went to. And they're even celebrating the fact, here's one here. This is in Thailand, this one. I should actually put them in. I have actually asked them for a PowerPoint presentation. But these people, what are they doing? I'll find the biggest one. So this complex I'm about to show you here wasn't there 2 years ago. That's just been built. That's all brand new. And that's on the screen she was showing us. This is on the board. This is in Myanmar. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. On the border of Thailand. And she was on the other side watching celebrations go off where they were actually expanding this. Every single person that works in this compound is not allowed to leave. It's like a prison. Their job is actually to scam the Western world. And I think that we're the Western world. So what the hell are we doing? Why can't we stand up and say enough is enough? Why do we have to have people that are tortured? Now, you might think, oh, yeah, Danny, we've heard of human trafficking. It's not a big deal. Well, it is a frigging big deal because it's happening, like Richard said, day in, day out. So there's a lady, which I can't show you the screen at the moment, is a lady who's given me a hard drive. Well, not a hard drive. What do you call it? A Google Drive full of images of people who are literally now she gave me a report that's 106 pages that was going to be submitted to the United Nations. When I went to this global sales summit, I met a guy from the United Nations. I said, oh, you know this lady? And he said, no, I don't know this lady. And I said, well, have you got a copy of this PDF? So I bumped him a copy on his phone. That's what you do when you're a high-tech scammer, not scammer, when you're a high-tech fighter. And I gave him the copy, and he said, well, that's part of my presentation. So he got up on the stage and gave the keynote speech about what the United Nations is doing about all this human trafficking. And he brought up the PDF file that was submitted to them. And I was helping the lady gather information about it. These are the pictures of people who have been tortured. I mean, I've done this one before. I know this one's not the worst one I can show you without losing my YouTube channel. But here's a guy that's been buried up to his neck in dirt. And, so this guy here, these guys are torturing him. Now, I've got 200 videos on my hard drive of all these people being tortured around the world who are working in these human trafficking compounds. I've got, absolutely disgusting pictures. I've got a video here of a guy jumping off a building, a 10-story building, and bouncing on the ground right in front of the person that's videoing it. I've got, the women are raped. People are tortured with tasers, and they're all working in these compounds that these scams and they're building more compounds. So,
If you went to a meeting right now, though, Danny.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I was what?
Yeah, it's like if you went on a Zoom meeting and you heard the presenters, the organisers of the scam, the leaders, all the people investing in them, do you think they, out of the average person that you go run into, do you think they give a shit? Because they go on these meetings, they tell lies every day. They tell lies on the Zoom meetings. They go off of the Zoom meetings. They recruit people. They tell lies, and all they're interested in is self-interest. And unfortunately, the way that the whole world has gone is that a journalist can come along from Bloomberg, a respected, large mainstream media organization, and they will be criticized as, well, we can't trust anything mainstream media say. Now, this is where the world is today. That the people in these scams don't care about anybody except themselves. The people perpetrating them have got heaps of ammunition to discredit people like you or Bloomberg journalists or anything like that, because leaders of the free world have done exactly the same thing and got elected to lead their countries doing it.
And that's
So-
it right
so
there.
that's
It
the
gets
real
deeper,
fight.
deeper with that.
So that's the real fight. But I just want to say one thing before I go,
Where
and
you
that
go?
is that I'm going to get up and do some bloody work for the day. But the one thing that I want to say is that out of that whole article, which has got a lot of information, which should make people, if they read it, stop and think. But I think the key thing in that entire article is that there is an opportunity that has been promoted for the last several months. It is supposed to be in conjunction with Visa. And that journalist has gone to Visa and said, what's going on here? And Visa have said, we do not know the person who leads the project, and we do not have anything to do with the project at all. And it's buried near the end of the article. And yet, realistically,
It should be a headline.
open and cut. Yeah, that actually should be. And I know, in the context of the world, it won't be. But in terms of proving to people who are involved or thinking of getting involved, that should be paramount importance. Visa have said, we are not in this, and the person promoting it has said Visa are in it. So which one are people going to believe here?
Well, you know what he'll say, because I know Jarvis well enough. He will say we haven't come in under our official name. We are coming in under, because there was Susie mentioned the name. What was it? There was because we read the terms and conditions of 9pay, and they actually have, I think they've removed it. But if you go to their terms and conditions, they actually said that they're only an affiliate of. And then, so he'll probably come back and say, oh, they wouldn't have known about us because we using the services of a different company to. So he listen to this, you see. So I don't even know if this has been updated instructions, but that's what he'll claim. And then, we'll just forget everything that Visa said. But, we're not, it doesn't matter whether it's read something. I've forgotten what it is, but there was
It was Red F Technologies. Red F Technologies.
Thank you, Susie. I always get my stuff half right eventually. But these technology company they're talking about isn't 9pay, because 9pay is the brand. So if Visa doesn't know about the brand 9pay, that's the problem, regardless of what umbrella or what entity.
So I just want to take a pause here for a second, because we've talked about this before. And the fact that Bloomberg, as a financial type broadcaster, they should know, and for media, they should know Visa is only one part of it. We've talked about HSBC. Why didn't they inquire with the bank? Why wasn't that part of the article? They can't do what they're doing with Visa without another component. Visa is just one part.
I think, though, if you go back a level, these people that are losing their money, that I've seen, and I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of these people that are losing their money do not do due diligence. They do not email Visa. They do not email HSBC. They do not email CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, any of these credibility names that are dropped in any of these projects. They err on the side of.
Oh, still there, Rich?
Yeah.
I think he fell off.
Lost Rob.
He was just getting on a soapbox as well.
Okay, Rob, your static on top of your head might have
a frequency
problem. There he is.
He's back. It's got your tin cap on. Carry on, Rob. Before you start there, Rob, there's a link that's been posted in the chat room. If you have lost money to any of these scams, you can fill it out. It's called Where Did My Crypto Go? We're getting some really good responses from people that have lost money. Fill it out and we'll see what we can do. At least track us. We'll link it to another scam. It does help. Go, Rob.
Yeah. Look, a lot of these people they just go into Zooms, they hear all the information, they hear the claims of how much money can be made, and they err on the side of, I'm going to do this unless there is a compelling reason not to. They should be turning that around. They should be saying, I am not going to do this unless I am compelled to do it. So this is the whole thing. A lot of these people that are losing their money, they haven't done their due diligence, they haven't put the work in, they just want an easy path to success and profit. And so I don't have any sympathy for them at all compared to the people that scammers come after them individually and steal money, mislead, blah, blah, blah. People need to do the work themselves, and they can't rely after the fact of, oh, well, let's go. Yeah, because they don't even go to authorities. They don't go to journalists. They just, I don't know what they do.
Rob, I'm going to walk out there on the limb with you and agree with you, right? But at the same time, there are the people like you and Danny's relationship. Danny was in a scam. Danny tried to call you over for some brews, and he showed you the presentation. And there's these people that are inculcated too far past go to do what you say. You follow what I mean, Rob?
Oh, look, I absolutely agree that there are a lot of relationships that are manipulated.
Exactly. That's why I have this strongest argument about the government not doing anything. So who the freaking heck are you that you can come along after the fact and act like this is investigative journalism? It's not. This is a piece of trash. They need to take this and staple it to freaking Sam Lee's forehead.
I like that one. Can I use that?
Hold on, Richard. Hold on, because I got to think what year this was actually. What are we in? Last year, and I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but last year I did several videos on one particular project over and over and over and over and over.
That was a different
every month.
Yeah.
Every month, my understanding of it changed. And we used to have conversations. We used to have YouTube. We'd have talks like this. And if you'd gone back a week and 2 weeks and a month and 2 months and 3 months, what we were saying and how we thought the thing worked, what reality was, changed each time. And so a lot of these are very complex. And so a journalist who, thank God that woman doesn't go on those Zoom meetings every day. It's a complete and utter waste of her time. But if she did go on a Zoom meeting, and a lot of these people that are on these Zoom meetings, they just turn up, they get walked into a paradigm, into a new reality, and they want it to be true, and so they suspend any critical analysis. And that's where we are now, because I'll tell you what, if my best mate came up to me and said, I want you to get involved in this thing, it's going to give you a great return, and just in case you've got any doubt, it's backed by Visa. And then I read an article where it said Visa got asked about their involvement in this project, and they said, no, we know nothing about it, and we don't know anything about the person behind it.
Yep.
I should, unless I am brain dead, listen to a respected journalist who has gone to the horse's mouth and asked Visa, and they said no, over my friends.
Yeah.
I agree to the extent that credibility of any legacy media, whether it's the paper or the TV, that, like you started off saying, this is where we're at in the world today. That stuff only goes so far, in basically you're getting nostalgic in presenting it like that.
Love it.
Because it's a scam all the way around, man. Even the newspaper companies, these employees, they're not their own journalists. They have to dictate according to the confines of how they have a contract to write.
Well, here's an idea, guys.
That's what I loved about that. Real quick, Danny. That's what I loved about the Guardian thing. Is what if real journalists could get funded for 3 to 5 years and go out there and do real, true to the notion of crime, of fraud, and then they have to hold that in court because effectively the fraud on all sides used to not exist. If the freaking newspaper was writing something false, yeah, they'd go to court, but they lobbied all the lawyers and attorneys for that crap too. So that's why it does not exist in your face the way that it should on the side of justice.
I'm just thinking outside the square here, guys. Now, if I was Visa and people were claiming that my Visa card is my brand is going to be associated with some criminal company like NinePay, why don't they do a page on their website and state publicly that they're not affiliated with such company? Wouldn't that cause a lot of grief?
Because Visa doesn't have a website like that. But to that point, that's what I was trying to hit on, is these newspaper articles and then the bigger name legacy media, the least that they could do to hold water in having any credibility this day and age is have a freaking page in the newspaper. Like when you had the crossword puzzle, or not the section in the newspaper where that's where that's at. They could have a section in every place in the world. Like, okay, this is tabulated that was a scam on this date. And then you could go back and check, like, hey, that's still on the ledger for the past 2 months, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to throw their credibility out there to the wind and act like they're, no harm, no foul. That's as much of a sham as what Rob was saying. They get on here and all the people are involved. So it's like, oh yeah, just throw them all out with the bathwater.
And I think at the end of the day, everybody does things or do not do things because of money. And nowadays, everybody expects that. So they think, oh, well, you're telling me this because you're going to make some money. And if a person recruited me and they said, yes, I'm going to make 10%, 20% or whatever, a lot of people who think they understand capitalism go, oh, that's perfectly rational. That's perfectly rational. The reason Visa aren't coming out here is because if Visa were to say this company and this company and this company are not affiliated with us and therefore they are lying, now the name of Visa
is associated with scams.
It's linked.
Yeah.
Or so they're not going to do that. If they had a page on
section,
they updated it.
For it.
Well, there's another thing right in front of me here. There is a legitimate company called NinePay. Well, it seems to be a legitimate company. So they could be tarnishing somebody else who's already got the brand name NinePay, which is, and they are legitimate. So Chavis thinks, oh, we'll just use somebody else's name.
And is that the first time that has ever been done?
BPCC?
The project has come out using the same name as someone else, something else, and when you Google it, you see all of these positive reviews.
Right.
But only when you dig in do you realise that's not the same company.
Yeah. And this one here is really funny. I searched for NinePay, and here comes an Australian guy, which I've been following for quite a while, promoting it on his Facebook page. And here's a video of this Thomas Grant guy. And I can't even go to the ATO or ASIC or the senators of Australia and complain about this guy because they just ignore it. And you think, well, there's no justice. I think that's what we're obviously finding hard to swallow. There's no one out there who's willing to stick their neck out, except the Avengers, of course. And that's quite sick.
Well, I mean, but we're not going to spawn another 5 people inside this year to do what we have come together collectively, to associate about. And that's the problem, because like Rob pointing out how it changes, another company, does that tarnish it? Well, we understand the dynamic of that. But how are people going to understand this a year from now, 2 years from now? It gets deeper and deeper, and that's the problem. There are literally, it's essentially a death camp. They're sending these people there to do this against their will, and that should speak enough volumes to the whole world. Because they're not just going to call only the Western, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Call everywhere that keeps them out of trouble.
Look at this video.
It's everywhere.
Are you watching this video? Isn't it just crap? So they've gone to the third world countries now, and they're going to rinse and repeat and start over promoting this Ponzi scheme. And there's Chavez here, a man that's working for Sam Lee, who's been charged in connection to a $1.9 billion scam, who's pushed Sam Lee to the side, taken all the money from the Vault Horizon, moved it to another Vault Horizon, taken all the money out of the Vault Horizon, put it into a cashier bank.
Yeah.
And now here he is touted as a hero as he goes to Vietnam to all these other leaders to give it to their mum and dad investors to lose money. You know, and this just carries on. And this could be easily stopped.
Yeah, when in reality, when Sam Lee handed it off to Chavez, there should have been enough of us that have the wherewithal to get on the internet, connect somewhere, and say, you know what, Chavez and Sam Lee, we don't believe either one of you. We need you to go on the record in Dubai to publicly state for the record that you are such and such and you are such and such. And then moving forward, we have to hold you to something. But nobody ever has the balls to get on that call and face these people. And that's where the other problem is like, why are we the only ones doing this? We are being polite. We are being freaking light about this thing. Imagine that we had all the AI tech and millions of dollars that we could waste, you know, oblivious to the ramifications with this. What we could do to these scammers, like the gamble guy you said, gamble guy. Like, are you kidding me? But how is it that we're the only ones, like, somehow we're resistant to, you know, well, you're not going to scam us. We can see right through the scam. How is that possible?
I'm just watching this video, mate. I don't know if you can see it, but we've got a video playing with Chavez toasting and drinking wine at this Vietnam thing, launching his 9pay pre-sale. And it's just quite lavish. Obviously, it's flash thing. And here we are. We've got official notifications from Visa to say that there's no association with Visa and 9pay. And they can just do a circus act performance. And everyone, because they get hyped up in the shit of it all, just go along with it. I mean, how many? I think it's just ridiculous, and people just don't wake up. And because they went to the event, and because they met, even David's in there, they just think it's real. And just because we have a Royal Gala event, I mean, $350 million has been taken from the community, mum and dad investors. And he stands up there, but launching a website called D0D0.app. The day the website was launched, the day that website was launched, we went into the contact area of the website, and they had the phone number of doodoo.com and the email address of sales@doodoo.com as the contact details for this company they launched like it's a $1 billion company. They had the website was just a rinse and repeat of somebody else's website, and they hadn't updated all the contact details.
Yeah.
You know, and
before that event, Danny, that's all you need to know is they had $350 million. You darn sure know that Chavez does not have $1 million in his pocket.
And the other thing that was
everything he runs is a front. He's not telling the truth about nothing. So who has the money? Who are his handlers?
Well, it's it is the cartels.
Talking about that.
Yeah, and now if we stop the video right here, we've got in the background, they've got affiliate marketing 3.0. Don't get me started. Now, I know Susie, who's listening in right now, we went and had an investigation about that. The first thing is we went to, now this is how dirty they play. So the state of Wyoming will allow people to register DAOs, a what do they call it? A non-friggin' decent.
Decentralized autonomous organization.
Brilliant. Just got the words in front of me there. Yep. And they registered this DAO, and then we realized they didn't have a public identifier. There was I didn't, but Susie did. She wrote to the state of Wyoming, and they basically gave them 2 months to reply. They provided fraudulent information when they filed to be a DAO. Now, this entity has come to the end of its life cycle and no longer can reinstate. The documents that, if you ever want these, you can go here and read the administrative action, which it's a bit hard for me to click on it because it downloads a file. But in here, it tells you that they filed fraudulent information. They had 2 months to do something about it and didn't do nothing. And so it got struck off. So you'd think, well, how can they be at an event and have this launched as affiliate marketing 3.0? Well, that's because they went back to the state of Wyoming and just registered another, where is it? So they registered another entity, and get this, exactly the same name. Why have I not been able to click on that when I could do it a few seconds ago? Here it is. So now we've got a new identity. All right, dude. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it. So here we've got Affiliate Marketing 3.0 DAO LLC, a decentralized autonomous organization, and now it's been filed because I'm applying. It doesn't mean they are. And this entity has come to the end of its life. Oh, hold on a minute. What's happening here? Have I brought up the same one twice? Hello. That's not right. It hasn't been struck off again, has it? Hold it. That could be exciting. I've probably got that wrong, but I'm just got to make sure I've got that right. So we've got old and new. Oh my goodness, I might be right here. I bet you're having a look at this. So we've got 2 documents archived. This entity comes to the end of its life cycle. The new document, current. There we go. I got it wrong. This entity has, I see. No, I'm reading it wrong. Sorry, kids. But here we got active, current. And on this one, we've got active and archived. But my point is that this company has been struck off. No one said anything about it except us. They reapplied and managed to get exactly the same name and filed with the same people, just rinse and repeat, exactly the same. So what's the point of having these decentralized anonymous organizations trading as an entity when one can get struck off because they've provided fraudulent information, and then 2 months or 3 months later they apply under the same stupid stuff and get awarded to be eligible, they're filing to become it's just ridiculous. So I don't know, what to do with this. I mean, I think I've done my 2 cents worth. I mean, we've probably got our hands in the air crying foul. A lot of people assume that I may have invested once upon a time into these Ponzi schemes and lost my money. I'm on a personal vendetta. That is untrue. I've never invested in any of these opportunities, and I've never lost any money to a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I have been scammed once, I must admit, for $112 because I paid my car registration not looking at the address, but that's about it. It's the only time I've ever been scammed. But I'm here as a vigilante. I'm here, risking my welfare. And a lot of my Avengers have done the same. Susie in the background here often listens to what we're doing. She gives us a lot of leads, links, and information. She's a good researcher. Bob, he's good at archiving information. He's good at getting in the face of people, ringing people up and asking them if they know they've been scammed. Rich is really strong, opinionated, but he has been scammed. So he is probably, Rob, the critical thinker, I call him. And, collectively, there's probably about 10 really strong Avengers, and there's a bigger, larger family of Avengers. People like you who might be watching this think that you don't really contribute. Well, you do. You can comment on these videos. You can have an opinion. You can provide us links to YouTube meetings. We can fight back. We can cause disruption. When I went to this global crime summit, a lady from the university, a professor from the University of Sydney, come along, and she pointed at me in the audience and she said, the YouTuber, the best, most effective way of doing something right now is causing disruption And I haven't done it for the last week because I've been quite stressed. But I normally go and I have about 80 tabs of Zoom meetings that are happening right now. And I go in there and I just cause disruptions. And some of it's not professional. And people go, oh, this isn't the way you should fight the battle. Well, if you've got any other solutions or any other options or ideas, give them to me. Because at the moment, we spent 8 months with a reporter and we've got this article, which is gold. It's good. It's important to get these articles out there. They didn't give any credit to me and my Avengers. Didn't even mention us. That got stripped out of the article by the editors. They just want to report a story. You know, there is more information coming out in the future, which I can't really tell you about. But those who know me and have been watching my YouTube channels know there's more coming. I believe that 2025 is going to really make a difference. We're going to create more awareness around here. You know, help me help you by sharing my videos, get them out there. You know, put them on your social media, be brave. You know, who's this Danny de Hek guy that you've just shared this video on your Facebook account? You know, we've had some good numbers in the chat room today, more than we normally have. What's going to be the outcome of this? Are you happy that there's people that have answered an advert in the paper saying that there's a job in Bangkok, for example, and they can go from their country to Bangkok, earn good money. When they get picked up at the airport, they have their passports removed and they get taken to human trafficking compounds. These are all the romance scams. And they are told that if they don't make $50,000 in a week, they're going to get tortured, beaten up. I showed you videos of people just before. I didn't show you the videos, but I showed you I had videos of people being tortured, beaten up, abused, raped, beaten, buried up to their neck in sand, and how many people are actually dying from this type of abuse. This is, you read in the newspapers and the articles that we've just gone through that, you know, billions of dollars have been going. Where do you think that $1 billion is coming from? It's coming from people like yourself who thought they'd just do a bit of an investment. You know, I'll have a bit of a dabble. I'll put some of my money into this opportunity. It's only $100. You know, you are the people that are feeding, you know, these scammers, unfortunately, and you don't know it. But the money that goes into these platforms is actually going off to the cartel networks. When I was at the conference, they showed us 3 cartels, just small ones, $1.2 billion, another one was $750 million, and the other one was $400 million on, I forget. But they're all cartels that are using people like Chavis, like Sam Lee, and they're using them to run these investment scams. And that's what they're actually called. When we were with 150 different delegates from around the world that are all fighting with the one cause, you know, and I was invited to go. I couldn't afford to go. It's actually crippled me financially this month because I had to pay for my airfares. But I was gifted tickets to go to this conference. They're worth $2,000 by the guy that was running the conference. And he wanted me to go so I could be part of this group of people that fight crime. So we met, you know, just everybody that I could ever want to meet. I've got 10 really good contacts now, which I can ask for help information on. I've submitted 3 cases off to King Gamble just in the last week, asking for advice on how to handle them. One of them is the gold scam. 30 Australian couples are promoting the dregs of GS Partners scams, and it's under another name, and I can't even remember the name, how to pronounce it. But it's just another gold scam where they're telling people that they can invest in digital gold. There's no real gold. There's no proof of any gold. But because people mention the word gold and wealth and silver, they think they're investing in something in their future. And they're advising people to put in over $100,000. And then they're showing them on spreadsheets how much money they could potentially make one day. And then they show you in the PDF with a pitch deck that if you recruit other people, they're going to reward you because we feel it'd be good to be rewarded if you promote somebody else into it. I mean, how many pitch decks have you seen of these scammers telling you you're going to do this, the company's going to do that, they're going to dominate the world? Wake up, people. You know, smell the coffee. There's no roses here. You need to actually think about it. What's wrong with being entrepreneurial? Why can't you be entrepreneurial? Why can't you find a product or a service? Why can't you go back to university and learn something? You know, I used to own a business networking company. And before long, I had a lot of practical experience. I've got no qualifications at all. I'm a painter and a decorator. I do have an apprenticeship. I did do apprenticeship, so I've got that, but that's it. But I've got a lot of practical experience. I've been entrepreneurial for the last 30 years, self-employed. I've had some great years. I've had some sad years. I've had some personal things I've had to deal with as my life goes on. But I can share my experience, knowledge, and skill with somebody who might be just starting out. I can show them a few shortcuts. I can tell them to avoid a few pitfalls of things that, you know, that I may have stepped into. One guy, a wealthy millionaire who lives locally to me, I asked him to come along to speak to my people who come along to my business networking. And I asked him about this business called Aristotle, if he's listening. And he pointed at me and he said, "You've got to have your failures." He said, "Because your failures are the compost for your next business opportunity." And I love that. So don't think failures are all bad, but they will certainly help you when you start up your next opportunity. Now, I'm not a big-time investor, big-time business guy. I believe start small, think big. I don't believe in that you should go borrow money from mum and dad to start up a company and hope like hell it pays off. I believe you should do small things, test them, grow them small. For example, if you were thinking of starting up a shop selling a product, buy one of those products, have it in your hand, put it on your local Trade Me or your local eBay and see if you can sell it. Make sure you make double the money it costs you to get it. When you sell one, go buy two. When you sell two, go buy four. Go buy 5, go buy 10, go buy 20, go buy 30, grow small. Then when you realize that people do want this product that you're selling, find a like-minded product and see if you can sell that also. And eventually you'll have like 10, 12, 15 different products that sell that are trending. Build a business slowly. Don't go out and buy a container load of products and then go up to a website developer, ask them to build you a cheap website and hoping that you can sell them. It doesn't work like that. You've got to have experience in business. I'm now 54 years of age. People listen to me a lot more when I was 20. But when I was 14 and I left school, no one would employ me. In fact, a lot of people were telling me, that they weren't even interested in, I didn't even have a CV, but I did have the gift of the gab. So I went and knocked on people's doors because I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. So I used to be walking up somebody's drive. I didn't know knocking their door. So I used the skills that I had from being part of a religious cult to go in and knock on their doors and ask them if they'd be interested in employing me as if they'd be employ me to mow their lawns. And they'd say, "Oh, yes, I have a lawn mowing business." I didn't, but that's what I used to say. And they said, "Oh, how much do you charge?" And I used to say $10 an hour. And then when they said, "Oh, that sounds fair," I said, "Oh, can I use I need to use your lawnmower though." So I had no tools, no trade, just walked up the drive and said I'd mow their lawns, charge them $10 an hour, use their petrol and use their lawnmower. But then what I found out is that people that wanted me to mow their lawns also wanted me to clean the leaves out of their guttering of their houses. Or one lady was every week I used to sweep her drive, and it used to take me 2.5 hours to sweep the leaves of her drive. Her and her husband used to take off to work. They were both accountants. They both had a Mercedes each, and they used to spin the wheels as they took off every morning. I thought one day I'd be like them. The Andersons was their name. I remember them. But then one day she said to me, "What else can you do?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. What do you want done?" Got to know what to say. She said, "Oh, I want some pruning done of some trees. Can you help me in the garden?" So then I went with the gardener boy. And then other things I used to do, dig over people's gardens. And then I eventually realized that I had a gardening business and I had different services, but when it come wintertime, I found it quite hard. But what I'm getting at is, if you're entrepreneurial, think of a product or a service. I teach people how to do drop shipping now. My next video I'm going to do today is actually showing off a new website that I've finished. I've set up a website. I'm going to show people all about it. And then I'm going to teach people, I sell these websites, and then we teach people how to, market these websites, how to find trending products, how to add them into the website, how to groom the products, make the right descriptions. The whole 9 yards of drop shipping. Now that's something where I'm just teaching my experience, knowledge, and skills. I create a website and I sell it. I wouldn't recommend starting up a business doing that until you've done the hard yards. I've been selling products online for over I've been selling products online for 18, 20 years, but I've been doing drop shipping for 6 years, and I've made some mistakes and I've made some good, I've also done the opposite of, I've been successful. So now I share that knowledge, and I've learned that knowledge, and now I'm willing to share what I've learned with other people, and that's how what I'm doing. So what I'm getting at is be entrepreneurial. Don't put your money into a get-rich-quick opportunity. There's no such thing as getting your money and putting it into an opportunity and getting rewarded back. It just doesn't exist. So don't do it. Hey, look, guys, I've waffled on enough. This isn't as long as I normally go on. Just over 2 hours worth of broadcasting. I hope today was useful. Hope you've enjoyed the article. And thank you very much, Alice, for spending all that time and energy and thought in producing that article about exposing Sam Lee, Shavis Anwar, and May Samavu. They've all been mentioned as scammers in there one way or the other. And if you have any information, please do reach out to me via my website, dehek.com. If you have been scammed, then we do on the homepage of my website have a way where you can report scams. If you don't report scams, the government does nothing about it. 98% of people that I seem to talk to have done nothing other than hope that the scammer is going to provide some solution to their money. Thank you to everyone that's been in the chat room and the comments. I'm sorry if I didn't get through to all of you. But that's me. That's Danny de Hek. I'm Danny de Hek, a.k.a. the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. I'm here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, morning, evening, wherever you've listened to this from. See ya.